It's Scarlight here, and welcome to day one of the Trail Titans versus the OU tier. And without further ado, let's get into it. Here's our first matchup here. We have Roaring Moon, Garganacl, Anomalies, Iron Hand, Cinderace, and Dondozo. Massive threat I can definitely see being Garganacl, definitely Cinderace, and Winging Bolt. So we're going to lead off with our Frosty. Honestly, Joey looks really good this matchup, as I do want to lead off with the Cinderace, which does make sense. We could just Telewater here and go for the Aurora Veil. Or we could switch out into Tia or Granny in this situation. Do I really want to use my Tera so soon? I think I will, and just set up the Aurora Veil, as they opt to just go for the U-turn. That does a lot of damage, so it's either max attack or it could be Choice Band. As they will go into Raging Bolt here, we will just go for the Blizzard, as they will opt to go for the False Switch, get the KO on us, which is completely fine, as they will go back into Cinderace. So right here, we could just go into our Joey. Go for the Shell Smash. As they will opt to go for the Core Change. Oh, I completely forgot about Core Change. As they will, we will just go for the Bullet Seed now. See how much damage we can do to the Cinderace. We barely miss out on the KO there, but they have definitely took our Aurora Veil, so it's going to propose a bit of a threat. As they will bring in Dondozo, we will force a Tera out here, which is fantastic. As they will just go for the Body Press. Joey doesn't quite go down just yet, but we need to figure a way out to deal with this Dondozo. So we're just going to Granny, as they will opt to go for the Body Press. We can just go for the Fickle Beam here. Hope to get Double Umbrella, or we could just go for the Nasty Pot. Predicting a switch. We can't sweep the team, unfortunately, because Anomalies as well. As they did just leave, but did just reconnect. As they will just go into Garganacl, which does make complete sense. We can just go for the Air Power here. And they will opt to go for the Soul Cure. We'll just go for the Air Power again. So yeah, really tough game so far, but still plenty of chances to come back. We definitely gotta keep Granny or Sinister, Tia alive for the Dondozo. Tia does look very good late game too, so it's definitely not over yet. And in fact, I'm kind of happy this happened, because if we do win, it really does show that the team can function without a Aurora Veil. It just gives us that extra protection. As we're still waiting on them to make a move. I wonder who they're going to switch into. They will switch into Iron Hands. I did not expect that. We do get the KO. I can definitely see the Anomalies coming out now. Yep. We have to save Granny for later. We'll let Joey go down here, as they will opt to go for the Moonblast. We can see if they are Choice Scarf or not. We'll just go straight for the IV Cudgel, as they will just go into Dondozo. We do get the quit, which is nice to see. We can now just go into Tia and see what they would want to do. They do double out into Cinderace, which is fine. We can just go for one Calm Mind here, as they will opt to go for the Power Ball. We can just go for the Strength Sap now. And yeah, we're looking in a pretty decent spot, which is so good. Because Mochigoki can really hit the Dondozo, even if it is unaware. So honestly, it's so cool that we forced their Tera out too, as they will just go for the Power Ball. We'll go back to full health, and they forfeit. So we win our first game with Trail Titans. Love to see that. Nice to see that there is still some power to this team beyond just a Aurora Veil. And let's go into the next game. Our next game here, and another really threatening team. We have a Sun team this time against us. So Torkoal's definitely going to be slower than Frosty. So we best not lead off with Frosty here. We could lead off with Tia. I think that's what we're going to do here because we do have the heat proof. As they will go into Torkoal, which is completely fine. We can just go for Carmine here. And we do have our Telewater too, as they will just opt to go for the Stealth Fox. We can just set up another Carmine here. As they will go for Clear Smog. That's completely fine. Go for another Carmine here, as they will, we will force out the Gorgon Fire. We can just Tele here and just go for a nice Shadow Ball, as they will opt to go for Dragon Dance. So they definitely predicted a switch there. We will just go for Shadow Ball again. We do take the hit and get the KO on Gorgon Fire, which is fantastic. And Slitherwing now comes out. I'm guessing it's go first impression. And no, it does just go for the close combat. Does get the KO, unfortunately. We could go into Frosty now. And go for the Aurora Veil. As they will have to go for the U-turn. Will they bring back in Torkoal? Yes, they do. Which is a bit unfortunate. We can just go now into Granny though. As they will opt to go back into Slitherwing. Which is a massive, massive problem for the team to deal with. We'll just go here, go for the Fickle Beam, as they will just go for the U-turn and go into Hatterene. This is such a tough matchup. We can't even go back into Frosty now, so what we will do is actually go into Joey, go for the Shell Smash, and let's see what they will want to do. They will Mystical Fire and get the KO on us. We can go into Fiona here, go for the Sword Dance. As they do want to stay in, go for the Mystical Fire. We can go for the Horn Leak here. Get nearly our HP back to full as we force out the Walking Wake. Which is definitely going to KO us from this range. And yeah, this is so unfortunate. Our first loss, it was against the Sun team, unfortunately. And we will get the nice knockoff off. As they will just opt to just go for the Clear Smog and then go to the Lava Plume. So yeah, GG, a very tough matchup, but let's go into the next one. Next matchup here, so many massive threats. Again, one being Cinderace, one being Garganacl, one being Galarian Slowking, and definitely Kingambit too. So many massive threats on the opponent's side. Def go lead off with Frosty again. Even if they do force the Tele here, I think that's fine. We can just go for the Aurora Veil. I know they will try to take our Aurora Veil up with Cinderace. So we probably want to set up with Torterra, that being the case. As they will just go into Galarian Slowking, which does make sense here. We will just go for the Air Power, get some nice little damage off, as they will opt to just go for the Focusite. So we could switch into Joey here, which I think I'm going to do. Let's see what they will want to do. They do want to just kill your Reception out. They will go into Kieran, which does make sense. We have to go for the... We have to switch out here actually. Probably back into Frosty. And yeah, Frosty's not going to take another hit, unfortunately. Yeah, honestly, I should have saved the Tele. Should have saved the Tele for one of our other mons, but we can just go into Fiona here. It's most likely Choice Spec, so we can just go for the Sword Dance here. Try to get some momentum back. Because Fiona does look very, very good this matchup, as they will just opt to go into Garganacl. We can just go for the Horn Leak here and get the KO. And we still have our Steady up, which is fantastic. So I'm guessing they could go into Cinderace, break our Steady, go into Iron Val. that's definitely an option they could do, which I think that's what they're going to do. So they will get the U-turn off. Does a lot of damage to us, but having Gognackle get taken care of is so important, as they will just go into Alien Val. We will go for the Ivy Culture. That does a lot of damage. Unfortunately, we will not get the KO here, as they will just opt to go for the Vacuum Wave. We could just go into Joey in this scenario and go for the Shell Smash. Because they could switch out. We do take a hit, which is fantastic. And then we will just go for the Earthquake, as they do have the Vacuum Wave, unfortunately. So we will actually go into Tia here and go for Calm Mind, as they do have the Shadow Ball, unfortunately. And yeah, this is very, very tough. I should have just went to Funky Kong and just went for the Grassy Glide, as they will just go for the Vacuum Wave, also get equipped. So we're a bit down at the moment, but we're definitely not out just yet, as they will opt to go into the Cinderace. They can definitely just go for the U-turn here. They do go into Kalam, and yeah, that's GG from here. Unfortunately, again, it's very, very hard to power this team, but maybe I shouldn't always focus on getting the Aurora Veil up straight away, especially if there's a Cinderace on their team. But let's go into the next one. Our next matchup here, pretty interesting. We don't normally see Necrozma, but it's nice to see here. They've also have a Gamora, which is a massive threat to the team. A Sirius Samurott, Great Tusk, and Goldango. Who do I want to lead off with here? We could lead off with Frosty again and try to go for the Air Power. Well, go for the Aurora Veil first, then go for the Air Power, so we can take a Sludge Wave, as they will just opt to go for the Mortal Spin, which is completely fine. We bring the Gamora down to its sash. We'll just go for Blizzard here in case they want to switch out, which they do. They will just go into a Sirius Samurott. We can just go for the Energy Ball here, and Frosty is doing really, really good so far. We do get the KO. And yeah, Gamora does come back in. We can just go for the Air Power. They will KO us with a Power Gem, but that's completely fine. We could go into Joey here and honestly just go for the Shell Smash, as they will opt to go for the Immortal Spin. We could have just Tailed there, and yeah, we could have just Tailed and not worried about that, but that's completely fine, as they will set up a layer of Toxic Spikes. But it's going to be very, very hard for the opponents to switch into this one now, as they will go to Necrozma. We could tell a Steel here, and I think that's what we go do, and Bullet Seed, just in case Necrozma takes all 5 hits or 4 hits. They does take 4, but we do get the 5th hit, which is fantastic. So yeah, this is looking incredible. So this is what I was really hoping for. Set the Aurora Veil up and just become a massive, massive threat. We'll just go for the Bullet Seed again as they Tera Fire. So we force the Tera out, which is really good for us. And that still does a lot of damage, as they do have the Tempered Flare, so that's a bit scary. So we're just going to Granny here, go for the Recover, as they do have the Ice Spinner. Oh, is this? No, it's not Gigi yet. We've still got Fiona. We can just go for the Ivy Culture. That does a lot of damage to the Goldango. We can just go into Funky Kong here, as they will just go for the Make It Rain, which I'm actually very happy with, because now we can just go for the Calm Mind, go for the Strength Staff. They do have Heat Crash, but luckily we do have our Heat Proof, as they will opt to go for Dragon Dance. We do go for another Calm Mind here. We'll just go for Strength Staff again. Make sure that they don't get that attack stat any higher than it needs to be. So yeah, how many Dragon Dance do they have? So we can just go for, I'll go for 1 Shadow Ball here, which really does a lot of damage. We can now just go for the Strength Sap, as we do take the hit. We'll go back to full HP, And Tia's really showing how powerful it really is. As they will go for another Heat Crash, which does make sense. The Golden Fire does go down. This is a very close battle indeed, as they will bring back in Great Tusk. They will get the KO with Tempered Flare, and then we have to go for the Ivy Cudgel here. They do get the KO, which does make sense for them to leave it in, so they don't risk the crit. And they are killing Scarf, and that was such a close game. Very close indeed, GG. Yeah, I definitely need to make some type of changes, I think, but I don't know what just yet. But let's go into the next one. Our next matchup here, and we've got massive threats again, being Gamora, Garganackle. So yes, so many massive threats. We can just go into, I think it's going to go into Granny here on the Gamora. We will just go for the air power. And they most likely go into either Stealth Rocks or Sludge Wave here, but we should take one hit because of our massive HP stat, as they will opt to go into Dragon Ball, which does make sense. We could Tera Fairy here and just go off for the Fickle Beam, which I think I'm going to do. So they go for the Dragon Dart, we get off our Fickle Beam, and we get the KO, which is a massive threat out the way. As Gamora will just come back in now. They will go for the Sludge Wave, and it just does just okay, get the KO on us. This is really tough. Gamora was a really tough monster to take care of. We could go into Funky Kong here, we could just go into Fiona. Or we can just go into Frosty. I think it's going to actually go into Tia. Go for some Calm Minds. We have to see how Tia fares against Gamora. But Tia does look pretty good this matchup again. Tia's been pulling in a lot of work already. As they will opt to go for the Sludge Wave. Is that a 2-hit KO? We can just go for the Machigacha here. And yeah, it is. Wow. I did not expect Gamora to be such a massive threat to our team here. We can just go for the Sword Dance into Horn Leech. As they will opt to go for the Sludge Wave, we'll just go for the Horn Leech now. Bring Gamora down to a sash. As they will opt to go for another Sludge Wave, we can definitely take that. But they can always just go into Iron Vow here. Yep, so the Iron Vow will come in. We will try to go for the Horror Link, but they do have the Aura Sphere. We'll go into Funky Kong here and go for the Grassy Glide. As they do opt to stay in, that barely does anything. Go for the Grassy Glide again. Barely miss out on the KO. We can just go into Frosty here. Go for the Aurora Veil. We do take one, and it all comes down to Joey. But yeah, it's not been a good first day. That's for sure. We can just go for the Shell Smash here, as they will opt to go for the Moonblast. They are still definitely faster than us though. We can just go for the Earthquake here, as they will opt to go for another Moonblast. And it's a shame because I think they're going to Tera Great Tusk here. No, they're just going to Revow, they can just Ice Shard. Yeah, unfortunately GG, and let's go into the next one. Our next matchup here, and massive threat here being Heatran. They've also got the Oxic Speed, Darkrai, Manamoris, Iron Boulder, and Hisuian Samurott. Going to lead off with Frosty here, predicting... oh no, they just go straight to Heatran. We definitely want Tera Water, as they do just opt to go for the Fire Blast. We will just go for the Air Power and get the KO. It's a massive threat out the way. Definitely needed, as they will just go into Darkrai here. We will just go for the Aurora Veil now. Hopefully they don't get the flinch. No, they don't, thankfully. And we'll let Frosty go down here. As we can just... Oh no, they decide to just go for the Nasty Pot, which does make sense. I don't know why they went for the Nasty Pot again. Maybe they predicted us to switch. And they forfeit, so we win next game, which is very, very good. And let's go into the next one. Here's our next matchup here. Massive threats I can definitely see being Heatran again. Dondozo just because of its unaware. Great Tusk, especially if it's Tempered Flare. And I think that's... Oh, and Hatterene because it does learn Mystical Fire. So we're going to lead off with Frosty again, as they will lead off with Heatran. We will just Telewater again. As they miss the Magma Storm, we'll get the KO. No, we barely miss out on the KO. Very special defensive, as we will set up the War Veil here. And we will just go for the Air Power again. But very, very handy to know. But we have got the Heatran very, very low, which is very, very good, as they will go into Mandibuzz. We can just go for Blizzard here. There's no reason to switch out just yet, as they will opt to go for the Foul Play. We go for the Blizzard, barely miss out on the KO. Go for the Blizzard again. And yeah, Frosty's really good at dealing some pressure to the team, as the Hatterene comes in, and that's a very offensive Hatterene. We can just go into Funky Kong here, I'll say. Or we can just go into Tia, actually. So we go into Tia, predicting the Mystical Fire. No, they will just go for the Carmine. We'll go for our own Carmine, as they will opt to go for Nuzzle. We'll just go for Shadow Ball here. And Nuzzle's completely fine for us. We will get the KO on the Hatterene, which is fantastic. As they will opt to go into Heatran, we can just go for Shadow Ball here. Unfortunately, they do miss the Magma Storm again, but we do get fully powered, so they do have another chance to hit Tia, and they do. We will just go for the Shadow Ball here. They are definitely going to protect, so we just go for another Carmine, and we get fully powered again, which is unfortunate. But we still have our War Veil up. As they will just go for the Magma Storm. We do get the KO on the Heatran, which is fantastic. Who they going to lead off with now? It is going to be the Jolteon. We'll try to go for Strength Sap here, as they do have the Shadow Ball. And now we can just go into Joey though, and go for the Shell Smash, as they will opt to go into Mandibuzz, which is completely fine. We can just go for the Rock Blast here and get the KO, which is awesome. I'm guessing Dondozo might come out here and we could force the Teller. Or no, because Jolteon won't be faster. So yeah, Joey's putting in a lot of work, a lot of back and forth these games. As we do force the Teller, so we will just get the nice Bullet Seed off, as they will opt to go for Curse, which is quite scary, especially we lost Tia. So we will go into Frosty here. We will go for the War Veil again, because we still do have two special attackers, being Frosty and Granny. So it's definitely not over yet, and yet we forced the switch out, which is fantastic. They go back into Jolteon. We can always just go back into Joey, as they will just opt to go for the Thunderbolt. We can just go for the Earthquake here, as the Dondozo does come back in. We can go for our Granny here, as they will opt to go for Curse. We can just go for the Fickle Beam. We are max special attack as well. We still got the War Veil up, so Body Press shouldn't be doing too much. So yeah, Dondozo is still very scary, as they will just let Jolteon go here. No, they will not. We can just bring back in Joey though, unless we've already forced the Teller, so I don't know really what to fear. So we can just go for the Nasty Pot here, I think, as they will go for the Alluring Voice. So that is what they have. So I definitely do not want Granny to get too low. So we will switch out into Funky Kong. and then go for the Swords Dance. Because it's going to be very, very hard for Dondozo to take a Warhammer because of our grassy terrain. So yeah, we are in the lead, but it's going to be a very tough one to break Dondozo, as they just do forfeit, and we do get the victory. So let's go into our next game, final game here, and there's a massive, massive threats, being Kiram, Heatran, and yes, so massive, massive threats. Go lead off with Frosty. I wonder who they go lead off with. Most likely Heatran here. Also, Kiram's a massive, massive threat, as they do lead off with Kiram, which I don't actually mind, because we can definitely take one Ice Beam, and we can definitely get the Aurora Veil up, as they will go for the Dragon Dance, which is quite scary. We'll go for the Blizzard here, and then we can just go into Ogerpon, or Fiona maybe. Yep, as we do get some nice damage off, and we do have Grassy Glide as well, so even though Kiram looks like a massive threat in this scenario, it's not really. And again, the Aurora Veil really, really helps. And yep, this is going to be our final Blizzard, and we get the Kiram out the way, which is fantastic, as we force in the Heatran now, which does make sense. We can Terra Water here, which I think I want to do, but I don't at the same time, just because we didn't get the KO last time. We could also just go into Granny, which I think I'm going to do here. Go into Granny, as they do unfortunately miss the Magma Storm. We can just go for the Nasty Plot here, and see what they will want to do. They do switch out into Pekka. We'll go for the Air Power. And yeah, they will go for the Magnetic Chain. They do get the Confusion on us, but we do get the KO with the Air Power, which is fantastic. As I'm guessing Kiram is most likely going to come out here. Yep, Kiram does come out. It does give them a free opportunity to Dragon Dance up. Is that the play they're going to do though? I'm not too sure. We can always just go back into Frosty here, as they will just opt to go for the Icicle Sphere. We can just go for the Aurora Veil now. And hopefully we can get some advantage back, as they will go for the Icicle Sphere. Is it going to get the KO? No, it hits 4 times, which is which is lucky for us. And now we can just finish off with an Air Power in case they want to switch out. But no, they will just go into Kiram. They will just go for the Scale Shot. But we can just go for Funky Kong now, go for the Grassy Glide, and get the KO. So, one massive threat hopefully out the way, and same with the Pekka ones as well, as they will opt to go into the Heatran. We can go back into Granny maybe, or Sword Dance or Knockoff. We're just going to go for the Knockoff, just try to get some damage on the Heatran. They can just go for the Magma Storm here. We can just go for the Sword Dance, or no, we can't switch out. So just go for the Wood Hammer here, and do some nice little damage, a little bit of damage, as they do set up the Stealth Rocks. So they definitely want to store our Aurora Veil, which does make sense, but we do have Fiona in the back, as they will just opt to go for the Taunt now. Will they KO us with Magma Storm, or are they just going to leave us with that tiny health? Unfortunately, I don't think we'll have the Aurora Veil for the rest of the battle, which is completely fine. We can just go into Fiona here. Should I just go for the Sword Dance, predict the switch, or no? Just stay in, go for the low kick. As we do force the Sylveon Samurott to come out, which is fantastic for us. They are most likely going to either they'll probably go Sleepless Egg here. We can just go for the Horn Leech, as they just will opt to go for the Uppercut. We'll get the KO, which is fantastic. And yeah, so Kiram's so Superior will now come in, which does make sense. In this scenario, I actually might Terra Rock here, go for the Ivy Cudgel, And they unfortunately do miss the Leaf Storm, as I did Telerock as well, but they do take the hit, surprisingly. But I will actually go into Granny here. I completely forgot about we turn into Rock type. Bit of a mind, bit of mind thought there. But we'll just go for the Fickle Beam. As they most likely go for the Dragon Pulse. And yeah, this appeal is very, very deadly because of this. But we do have the Shadow Ball as well. So it's very, very close game. As we do force in the Heatran, which is completely fine. We can just go for the Air Power and get the KO. As they will opt to go for the Magma Storm, we do get the KO with the Air Power, which is fantastic. So they do go into KOM, which does make sense. I am just going to stay and go for the Fickle Beam in case they want Dragon Dance, which they do not. So now we can just go back into Fiona. Go for the Horn Leak. And get the KO. As they will go into Great Tusk, so this is perfect for us because we're back at Sturdy range. So we can just go for Swords Dance here. As they most likely go for Earthquake. Yep. Does a lot of damage to us, but we do take the hit. And we can just go for the Horn Leak. Get the KO. And go back nearly to full. And we definitely need Fiona around for the KLM. So just go into Tia. As they will opt to go for the Leaf Storm. We should be able to take another one. Go for the Shadow Ball. And yeah, this should hopefully be game here, as they will opt to go for the Glare. And again, we'll just go stay in with Tia here, just because we can't let them Dragon Dance. As we will just go for the Shadow Ball. And yep, they will go for the Icicle Sphere. Does it hit 4 times? Or does it hit 5 times? So it does hit 5 times, but we've got Fiona in the back. That outspeeds KLM. Go for the Ivy Cudgel, and that's game. So really, really tough game. But we managed to pull it through, as they will Terra Ground. And yep, that's GG. Very, very close indeed. Really, really went back and forths. I have to check after if we won more or lost more, and I'll see you on the MVP screen. Welcome back to the MVP screen, and we've got 2 already, being Fiona and Tia, both with 5 KOs. And looking back at the footage as well, we did lose just as much as we won this. Again, really rough at the beginning. We really close up in the end. So it's a really back and forth team. And the matches are really quick, because it's either we get the nice setup, we sweep the opponent's team, or they sweep our team. Some changes I'm looking to make is just some better towers. Maybe Terra Water on Joey instead of Terra Steel, because we would have been able to really deal with that Great Tusk in one matchup. But yeah, Joey and Granny are only 4 KOs as well, so it's really even at the moment, which I'm really excited about. And also very happy that I showed as well that even without Aurora Veil, this team can still do well. And from now on as well, if we ever see Grimora, I think I am just going to lead off with Tia. Because Tia is neutral to the poison. And hopefully we can just get like a Strength Sap off, and then go for like a Mokugacha, so we can take the next Sludge Wave. But yeah, I think that's the main problem of the team at the moment, is actually Grimora again. It was the exact same with the modified team, but we dealt with that early. So we could change Synergia to be Terra Ground maybe. But we'll have to wait and see. But with all that said, if you like the video, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. And most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day.